So I'm just
No.
asking. They asked for.
It's done.
He said it's done. He doesn't. Meaning he doesn't.
In
have
some
to
versions, Christ said it is done. In other versions, he said it is finished.
Y'all pass?
It's done. It's finished.
Okay, so we're gonna move along. Remarks of the council. Mr. Councilman King, you want to start this off, or do you have any remarks?
Sure. Don't have any remarks. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. Next council meeting is in 2 weeks, 5 o'clock. We'll have students here with presentation. Flyers out front about food pantries. Please come out. In 2 weeks, bring 2 friends to the council meeting. Thank you all for coming out tonight. That's it.
Councilman Martin?
Citizens, East Clevelanders, lend me your ears. You heard her read the document. You need to read the document yourself, because the whole essence of the document is annexation and merger. Okay. That's my interpretation. But we can get a legal opinion on it. I'm open to that. I want to share some history with you, and I want you to connect this. And I'm trying to be positive as positive as I can. A few years ago, you were told that if we kept the red light cameras, we wouldn't have to worry about getting rid of the police. We were told that, were we not?
Yeah.
Okay. We had a big meeting at on Lee at the Old Y, because I was a part of that. And Art McCoy debated spots. Okay, we went back and forth. You voted to keep the cameras. The cameras are gone now, and the promises that were made were never kept. Why are we in the situation that we're in? And this is what you got to reflect on when this whole thing comes to a vote. If we got $20 million from the Cleveland Clinic, and 12 of it went to tearing down Huron Hospital, and we had $8 million, what happened to the $8 million? Why was the contract or the deal with Cleveland Clinic exclusively with the mayor to the detriment of the council? We totally left out. Okay. Why with the $8 million? And I want you to look at this objectively. With the $8 million, we shouldn't be in the situation we're in right now. Why were so many people hired and now half of them are gone? Paid ridiculous salaries that we didn't have. Okay? It's about management. It truly is. I've heard from the mayor, from a lot of documents I read in the paper, about merger. But I haven't heard anything about talking to our creditors or bankruptcy. And we don't have to be big as Detroit, but those are options that really have not been explored. From what I'm seeing and feeling, everybody, it's all one thing. It's about merger. It's about merger. Now, where did this $8,000 come from to do the mailing, to make the phone calls? The other group out there didn't have a dime. There's money behind this situation. If you're not thinking, you have to think. You don't have to go to college to think. You have to be thinking and analyzing these situations. There's something wrong with this picture. You ride through the city. How do we get in a situation where we can't fill in our potholes? The lights are blinking everywhere, etc. It's about managing the money that you have. If you have a credit card, and I've been straight about this, and you need to hear this. I've been talking about this for 4 years. If you look at the tapes, when we were taping the meetings, I said we're spending more than we're bringing in. I've said it. I've said it everywhere. Sweetheart, if you spend more than you bring in, you're going to have a problem. If you have a credit card at $10,000, you're spending $20,000, you're going to have a problem. I don't care what it's saying right there. The truth of the matter is, it's mismanagement. And if we have the cancer there, and we don't correct it, it's going to be the same thing. We were not loaned by the State Fiscal Commission at $6.9 million because they said it's been not. But this situation here has been mismanaged. It's mismanaged. We give the mayor a budget every year, like Frank Jackson gives them, like the council people in Cleveland give Frank Jackson. If you don't stay within that budget, you have a problem. You create a problem. It ain't about points. These are facts. These are facts. This could have been prevented. We got $20 million from the clinic. He cut the deal himself, and then we just ran through the $8 million like nothing. Okay. We were left out. We raised it. You guys could complain about joining them. That was half the thing we were complaining about. We asked for it. We never got a comprehensive report about that. Never. Never. It's the truth. It's the truth. So now we're in a situation where, and this is what I know from reading, because I'm an avid reader, all I've heard from here is merger. Where did he get this money at? We don't have it in our coffers. Where did the money come from to do the mailing? Okay, where did the money come from doing the phone calls? Do you realize if you add 50 cents times 13,000 or 50 cents times 17,000, that's thousands of dollars. And then the phone call. Did you get the phone call? Did you get the mailing? There's money behind this. It truly is. Now, ultimately, after all this process and procedure takes place, you're going to have to vote on this. Do you think we'll be better off under Cleveland if it comes to that?
No.
Can we correct the situation? Well, it rests with you. It begins with you. It ends with you. I've spoken. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council keep
Councilman
passing
Baker.
everything you think put up there.
Councilman Baker.
You got a council up there. Allegedly.
All right. Members of the public, I won't be long, but, you know, much has been said, and I have a few points here. So I want you to listen attentively so that we can understand on a different perspective where this is going. You know, I noticed much was said about the school district. And if you backtrack your thoughts to when they dissolved their school board,
Right.
they dissolved their school board, and they would not allow, you know, an elected school board within their community, because that was their plan. So there is no reason why they would allow a 5-member elected school board to still stand with its own IRN number, and that's how they get paid from the state. There's no way on this side of God's green earth they're going to allow that. Just to let you know. And so through an annexation process, there's a phasing out. That wouldn't mean that the school district goes immediately, but over time they would dissolve the school district. And if they had talks about either closing Collinwood or closing Glenville, there's no way they're going to let low-performing, and so many uncertain terms, some of the low-performing students at Shaw High School still stay there and not usher them to a Glenville school or usher them to a Collinwood school. Our school district is unique. Our school district students have went on to do great things. They've been awarded some of the highest scholarships in the county in competition with those from Shaker. And we sit here and we put our kids and leave our kids to become victim to a process that was negotiated over a long period of time. Some say 30 years. Some say more than that. Everybody's been out for East Cleveland for the long haul. Whatever has been going on, do not let our kids fall victim to a process that is already manipulative, it's already lack of discretion, lack of transparency, and it has ulterior motives. So when I look at residents like Mr. Irby, and I think it was the captain that put you out, not the chief. He does have a high rank. He's number 2 on the police department. I think it was the captain of police that put you out.
Wheeler.
If he did so, and you're a resident, that's a meeting, a town hall meeting that was not like a governed meeting of council or a official meeting of the city. When mayors and when we have ward meetings, those are not official meetings. Official meetings happen with BZA, ARB, East Cleveland City Council, any meeting that our clerk has to post on that wall. That's an official meeting, and you have right to be in that meeting, have right to speak as a resident, and nobody can say anything about it. That is your First Amendment right. Now, the abuse of authority through a police department, if I were the mayor, I would bring sanction upon every police officer that removed residents from a public meeting, whether or not they spoke my praise or sought my demise. That's how that goes. The residents control the city.
all across America. And if you can't recognize that, then you need not be in government. The debt management plan, ladies and gentlemen. We are not here because of the $10 million that we need to manage our city. We are in this predicament based on the money that we cannot pay towards the past debt that we have on the books. We need to enter into a conversation with individuals that are well versed in debt management. I'm not speaking of, that our finance director is incapable, but I know he would love the help of somebody who's willing to take part in conversations about debt management. Right. He's a part-time finance director. His background does not have the Mars that I've seen from recent or past finance directors with the city of East Cleveland. One went to another city, and now their city is in financial crisis. But we have one that comes here and faces the trials and tribulations of our city day to day. You understand? So we need to enter the debt management. We need to entertain a strategy for our recovery and our rebirth in the city. There needs to be 1 year to a 5-year plan to decide how each area and pocket of this community should look. And it falls in line with the $10 million. It falls in line with bringing partners in. It falls in line with you, the residents, doing your job as well.
That's right. That's right.
Helen S. Brown. Helen S. Brown has always been a burden to the budget. However, the seniors are not the burden to the budget. It's the facility that was a burden to the budget. Until you find a reason and a way to bring in grants to manage that city and keep partnership with the Center on Aging, keep partnership with the county. Don't start at the last minute and try to run to the county and ask them, hey, can you get help? Hey, church, can you get help? We should have been bringing all the stakeholders to the table from the start. And then we can still have people in there like the Freedom Schools with the East Cleveland Neighborhood Center. We could have still brought some other people in there to pay rent. We could have allowed a church to come in and rent on Sundays. It would have capitalized on the income. And so you speak about taxes. I handed you this form, and it stated Cleveland and East Cleveland. Forget a water rate. We're talking about the taxes we have to pay. Right. Water rate will fluctuate. Turn your water off. Don't run it. Wash the dishes 2 times a week. I mean, it's up to the resident how they negotiate what their bills look like. You turn your lights off. You turn your water off. You cut your grass when you need to. But one thing that will not change this seal is your property taxes. So we have to be conscientious and aware of what an individual says to us named Gary Norton. I was once in that camp. I'm not anymore. If I saw it then, if I saw what he was going to do then, I would have left when I had the chance. But I didn't. So you look at it like this. We were once 200 plus employees. Now we're down to 1 to 3 people in the department. The HR department has 1 director, no assistant. We're down in other areas that I can't speak of because of safety concerns. We're down in other areas. So if we're not paying the same money that we paid in 2010 when we walked in office, and now it's 2015, how is not the $10 million working? Because the money that comes from the state, okay, Kasich cut across the board. That's understood. Kasich cut across the board. He didn't take East Cleveland as his own individual particular case. He cut us like we were Solon, Pepper Pike, and everybody else. But looking at it, it takes you as the executive office, and I'm sure my colleagues, they've been agreeing with me lately on this. We need to go and lobby for our reallocation or our reinvestment of the money that we lost and we shouldn't have lost. So when you think about where our city is going, colleagues, and when you think about where our city is going, residents, you have to do beyond what the next man is doing to make sure this is surviving. And I believe God has not put us here to give up and fold on something. When times get hard, we stand up and rise to the occasion. That's my
Thank you.
I'm not trying to lose Shaw High School marching band. I'm a proud alumnus.
That you went through.
I am through.
I'll give you a hand, bro.
Mr. Wills. Speak the truth.
Yeah.
You should speak.
You got here?
Yeah, we gonna,
We want to hear you.
we want to hear you.
No, it's you can hear his passion in his voice. But you know, politics to me in society today isn't like it used to be. It's a different way to play the game, I feel. Why you know, you got somebody that has to be boisterous and explaining what's going on, because the residents need to know, you know, what's going on. But at the same time, you need to be in the back room and getting things in order that needs to be done. There needs to be a plan. I asked somebody, I said, we don't want to merge. And the gentleman said to me, he said, well, that's fine. So then, what you gonna do? I said, well, we want to keep our city. He said, well, what you gonna do? Just because you have a passion for it doesn't keep the city. What's the plan that can create new revenue streams that can offset that deficit and keep your city functioning so you give people the quality of life that they want? That made me say, well, let me think. First, what we had to do is, which some people think is not a big deal, the councils are united as a front now. We're one body. We're trying to work together. That was the key.